All right, it's a new month, new data to cover. What did home sales do in October in our market? Did home prices go up? Did they go down? Did days on market go up? Did it go down? What about transactions being sold? Are we selling more homes or less? Let's dive into the data and answer those questions.
All right, here we are. St. Tammany Parish. It's the graph that you see every month. We're looking at single family homes, average sale price in St. Tammany Parish over the past year. Last month it was median. I'm going to switch to the average. They're going to be different, which I think is interesting. So we'll toggle between the two just for a quick conversation. So if you'll see here, what did the market do in October? It actually average sale price came down just a little. I mean, we're talking $4,000, not a big deal. The median, though, it actually is. It's still going up. I find that to be interesting. So, what is the difference between the median and the average? For you stats folks out there, you'll understand. For folks like me that didn't know what it was until I learned it, here you go. The median is the middle. Where are home sales falling in the middle of everything that's selling? And what are they doing? Well, everything that's clumped in the middle is increasing in average sale price. Which so the median uh, sale price in St. Tammany is 315. The average is 375. So the first thought is, well, wow, that's a big difference. The average and the median. Yeah, because most of them are clumping around the 315 mark. And then when you take all the homes that have sold in St. Tammany Parish over the past, let's just say October, and divide them by the number of homes sold, the average is 375. So, what messes the average up is gigantic sales price. So all these $1 million homes that are being divided into the average are bringing the average up. So I think when you talk average sale price, I think you really should talk median, in my opinion. So all the past videos have went over median sales price. I may have said average in those videos, but I meant median. So we will continue the trend of looking at the median sales price to see what's going on. You'll see that it was on the rise in September. I found it to be interesting. I felt like it was going to keep going. I was right. It went up even more in October, which makes sense because we're really busy right now. I said it last month. I'm going to say it again. We're really busy. It's great. Good for home sellers. Buyers should get in the mix because if values keep going up, you know what that means. As the rates go down, I would expect the prices to go up a little bit. That's something to also keep in mind. So if you're waiting for home prices, if you're waiting for interest rates to come down before getting in the market, I think you should understand as a buyer, the prices may go up. So are you really gaining by waiting for a lower rate if home sales increase as opposed to getting in now with a little higher rate while they're still lower? That is for you to run those numbers, have your mortgage broker run those too on some various sale prices, or reach out to your favorite realtor. It's not hard to run those numbers, do some different loan scenarios. Plenty of programs and apps out there to help you with that. So here we are. Now we're going to switch to okay, prices seem to be increasing. What are the number of units doing? Like how many closed sales? What is it looking like in St. Tammany since we are on the increase in the median sale price? Not quite up to where we were in June of 24, but that's the summertime. Obviously, June of this year was lower, but we are on the move, man. All right, let's see what closed sales is looking like. All right, so remember the summer, higher volume, more transactions happening in the summertime. That's always the case. Look at the summer in 24. We went down when school starts, which is normal. Market always cools off around the start of school, bottoms out, the following month around Labor Day, I like to say, and then it tends to pick back up going into the end of the year. I find I'm busy. We've been busy. This makes sense to me. So we went down a little bit in September. And here it is picking up just a hair in October. I would agree with that. I feel that in my business. I would imagine other real estate agents, title companies, mortgage lenders, everyone in the business, home inspectors, they're all kind of saying the same thing I'm saying and the folks that I talk to. So this makes sense to me. I agree with it. Um, it's a little flat, but it's an increase. Be curious to see what happens in November. I can't believe that the year is closing out. It's November already. It's November 12th. Goodness, less than 2 months, and it'll be 2026. I hope you're making plans. I hope you're thinking about the next year because the planning starts now, right? You don't wait till January 1. Just a little side note there. Okay, let's see what days on market is doing. Boy, it's going up a little bit. That's interesting. So we have an increase in sales price. We have median sales price, that is. Um, we are having a increase in units sold, but we're having an increase in days on market. That's also the median. The average is high too. So I've been saying median. I've been looking at median the whole way through. So that's increasing. I find that to be interesting. That prices are increasing, volume is increasing, but yet things are sitting longer. Not much longer, but another 13 days from last month, which is interesting. Still not to the low of March of this year, which was a ridiculous 52 days on market, and we're still under 60 days on market in St. Tammany Parish. That's amazing. I still am blown away. When I sit down with home sellers and we're talking about timelines and what it takes to get the house for sale and get it ready and expected contract to close and all those things. And some of them have already bought a new house or they're going to do a contingent offer when they sell their house or they're moving to an apartment or whatever, or they're moving away, who knows, whatever. To sit down and say, hey, look, in 49 days, you're not going to be in this house anymore. I hope you've planned and thought through and went through the motions and are ready because that goes by insanely fast. Like, think about it. So we are about 47 days from the end of the year. So can you imagine like listing your house right now and being out by January 1? Yeah, that's a lot. That's stressful. So that's another conversation I have with my clients is you got to be ready. So 49 days on market is nothing. I think that's really cool. Um, I usually don't look at new listings on this graph, but I'm going to because days on market is lingering. Let's just see what the what the new listings look like um, in St. Tammany based on what since the days on market is increasing. Yep, I kind of thought that. I was expecting to see increase in listings, right? So in October, 446 houses went on the market in St. Tammany, up from 423 in September. So that makes sense to me. I was expecting that since I was seeing DOM going up. Makes sense. Okay, let's switch to our friends over in Tangi. All right, Tangible Paris, what's happening over there? Let's start with sales price. It's picking up a little bit. The median is, what's the average doing? It's going up as well. Interesting. So we're going to stay with median because the past videos have been. So increase in sales price over the month from September to October in Tangipahoa from 253 to 270. That's a decent jump. I want to reiterate the same thing I said with St. Tammany. I think the market's changing. I think it's time to be a buyer in the market and make a move. I think as rates go down, prices will continue to increase. So don't sit on the sideline continuing to wait. If I were you, um, I think you're going to pay more. I do. As a seller, you love it. As a buyer, not so much. Things to consider. Okay, let's look at closed sales in Tangipahoa. Boy, they had a drop off, didn't they? Not a big drop, right? Oh my goodness, they went from 121 units closed in September, right? I was expecting to see another increase, and they dropped down a lot. You figure that's a decent cut, right? I mean, that's over 20%. That's way more than 20%. Wow, that's amazing. So that kind of hurts a little bit. I'm just a little shocked since St. Tammany is going the other direction. Um, that is interesting. Interesting to have that type of fall. My goodness. Yeah, you're talking, another 42 houses, 42 transactions. That's a pretty big number. I find that interesting. Obviously, let's see what it looks like from last year. Does it follow that? Let's see. So it increased from September to October last year, but look at the units; they were under 100 um, for both September and October. At least September had a push. Very interesting. Curious to see what the next 2 months hold for Tangipahoa Parish in that regard. Let's see what DOM is looking like. And it went down 35 days on market. That's amazing to me, right? I mean, it's even faster in Tangi than it is in St. Tammany. I sold a house in Tangi a couple weeks ago, and I think we were on the market for 9 days, right? And it was the same conversation with that seller where we sit down. I'm like, hey, are you ready? This is going to be fast. And they're like, yeah, we're ready. And the older couple, right? And we listed it, showings, offer. I mean, it was fast. Had to get out quick. And, as they're moving, the seller was like, my goodness, you were right. This is a lot and it's fast and we're tired. And so I just want to reiterate that before you put your house on the market, you have thought through the timing and you've had those conversations with your realtor, which should be me. But if it's not me, you should have it with your realtor. Okay, let's look at, we looked at sales price, we looked at days on market. Let's look at closed sales went down, days on market went down, sales price went up. That kind of wraps up Tangipahoa Parish. Lost my train of thought there for a minute. Now let's switch to our friends over in Washington Parish to wrap up the video. What is happening in the woods? All right, we're gonna go with sales price. Look, it shot up big time. My gosh, look. So the average I would expect not to be so strong, but it is. It's from 171 to 246. The median was 156 to 212. Still a gigantic jump. Um, Not to panic, right? Like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? There's not a lot of sales in Washington Parish, so you could really have some gigantic swings in average and median sales price since there's not that many, which we're going to see when we go to closed sales and days on market. Well, closed sales, not days on market. So let's look at closed sales in Washington Parish. It went down for 2 months in a row. It had a peak of 25 in August, and then you can see that it went down in September to 21 and in October to just 16. Not a lot of transactions, but I mean, it tracks with last year, right? Let's see. So, last year, September, they had 14, 18 in October. So it's about the same. I mean, a little different, but not much when you're talking just 3 or 4 houses. So let's see what days on market is doing in Washington Parish. It's going up. It's 84, still under 3 months. It was 65 last month, 84 this month. Um, again, not 3 months is not a long time. I think once we start seeing longer than 90 days on market, will indicate some other market conditions, health of the market. Obviously, there are houses sitting on the market for more than 90 days. I have some listings that are doing that, whether it's condition, whether it's location, obviously price, those things. So, but the average or the median, let's see what the average looks like. The median is 84. The average is 97. It's all about the same. So everything is kind of clustering in that around that 84 mark, which is still low. I find that to be good. I'd still be comfortable if I was a seller in Washington Parish. So that's kind of a wrap. That's the market. Looking forward to see how we close the year out in these 3 parishes. I appreciate you joining me.
All right, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate you taking the time to look over these videos with the data points that we're covering. As always, if there's other points that you would like me to cover, feel free to drop me a line or a DM or an email or a text, and I'd be happy to do that. If you want to see these videos as soon as they come out, I'd be grateful if you would like or subscribe. That way you're notified. I will be posting these every month as we move forward, looking at closing out the year to see what home sales and prices are going to do in our region throughout the whole 2025. I feel like the market's improving. I feel like 2026 is going to be good. But as always, I like to look at the data to make those assumptions. Thanks a bunch. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. I'll see you next month.